Are we running? Alright, finally. Hello everyone, and welcome to the new, well it's not that new, the Pastry art stream. My webcam's working now, so my VTuber's not here right now. And I think I fixed my audio stuff now, though I could probably tune down the music just a tad bit so you can hear my voice. Hey everyone, and welcome to the stream. Hey Hypergrim, how's it going? And hello everyone else who is tuning in right now. Welcome to the stream. I just got home from work and just got done dealing with the stream audio. And I think this has been happening probably the past several streams. I didn't even notice because I think for some reason the audio, when I record it, it can record my audio, but when I'm streaming it, it's not playing the music, which is weird. But I think I've gotten all the stuff done with the music, and hopefully you can actually hear me, or at least you can hear some music in between the silent time. So yep, that's how things are going. How are we doing today? I'm doing alright. I've been pretty decent, alright. Music levels are louder than my voice. Alright, let me see if I can't turn you down right quick. Crank that down just a wee bit. And hopefully that'll be better. Yeah, I'm still just readjusting my stuff and everything's not as even as I'd like for it to be. If push comes to shove, I'll probably need to lower VLC. Yeah, usually when I'm editing the recording and the stream VODs, I end up lowering the music overall and rebalancing the audio so you can hear my music, because how I have the stream set up is I have them set up on separate audio tracks, but for some reason I guess it wasn't catching the second audio track with the music. It's just catching my mic, which is fine overall. I mean, you probably came here to see me talk, but it is kind of weird where you have a stream and you just hear no other music. Really, it's kind of like when I have silent moments, I kind of just don't really do much with that, and it could probably be a little boring, so I get a little self-conscious about that. But, I mean, other than that, I'm doing pretty fine. I've been doing my day job today, or at least this week. I started out in the summer school stuff, and, well, it's back to work, and, well, it takes some getting used to. Kind of just fiddling around with, getting acclimated to students, going to special education and things like that, and all that other summer school stuff. So it's a lot of driving, a lot of traffic stuff, and me trying to figure out how to go nearly 40 miles a day without blowing so much gas. Honestly, I don't really need to worry about gas since it's not my vehicle to blow. It's the school district's vehicles. It's not my stuff. I'm not paying for it overall, but it's like I do want to at least. I feel a little weird to be going to the gas station 3 times a week for this kind of stuff. So right now I'm kind of just trying to efficient things up, mainly for time, really. I just don't like driving all the time for little value, so I've been trying to just do that for the past week, and overall it's been fine. I've been doing that plus trying to do 30 minutes of writing a day, and what I've been doing that for is just tackling some little bit of Black Mass game narrative stuff and a little bit of just personal writing where I want to write a new comic and get a little bit more creatively filled and fulfilled, and work on more just creative endeavors and just tighten up my writing overall. So I've been doing that by writing more, just getting myself every day, usually in the mornings or at night. Of course, doing the stream makes things a little complicated. And I missed out on last night's stream because there was a freaking tornado stuff, and there were little blares going on for roughly like 2 hours, I'd say. It's kind of like on and off. The reason I didn't really stream, because usually tornadoes don't really happen in my area that often. Like, I live in a cornfield, but tornadoes, I've been lucky enough that I've been here for, I think it's now going on 20 years. I've been here long enough that I haven't worried about tornadoes that much, but I want to be like constantly interrupting the stream to slip to the basement for an hour or 2 hours just in case. So I decided to skip the stream until tonight. So that's the general gist of all the stream stuff. And last Saturday was pretty okay. I sold stickers. I sold stickers in sticker packs, which I have right here in my desk here. And yeah, a lot of them are in like large sticker bags here. I have a large pack of cat stickers right here, where they're in Nylar bags, and there's 4 stickers in the cat sticker stuff, and I've got several other different packs, and I sold that at in the Aurora Sticker Stobs Aurora event, and just selling the stickers I usually sell at my conventions and my Etsy store as well. I do need to make an actual post on my Etsy store. Right now it's just the individual stickers, but just drop my Etsy store right here and drop a little link if you want stickers yourself, and I'll be selling these sticker packs. There's 4 stickers for like 20, so you can get 4 Pastry cat stickers for no problem. And that's that's a thing that I did last weekend, just sell some cool stickers, and I made a decent amount, so that's kind of been good for me for last weekend. Next week I'll be doing a library convention at the Matson Area Public Library Fan Fest, and it's gonna be good. It's a smaller library show, but usually I mingle with the locals, have a nice chat, and sell a decent amount of stickers, so that's been pretty good. And another week after that's a stream in Lockport, Illinois with Comicopolis, and that's that's in 2 weeks, so on the 28th. Well, actually no, it would be the 29th if it's a Saturday. Let me look. Alright, so it's the 29th. Oh, yeah. Next week, I'll be doing the Matson Area Public Library Con the 22nd. And then the week after that, on the July 29th, I'll be doing Comicopolis. So that's my convention stuff for all that stuff. And I'd say, that's most of the stuff that I've been up to for the past few weeks. I've been posting a lot of cow art, and it's actually technically older cow art, since a lot of them are sketchbook ink drawings that I made a while ago, but I colored them. And you know what? Let me see if I can't pop them up real quick. Doop-a-doop-doop. Let's see. that cow. Let me see if I can just pop open. But yeah, here's kind of just what I've been just tackling for, I'd say, the past, I'd say, a week or so. Is I've been coloring these drawings of cows for the past week or so, and basically I want to convert these into sprites for Black Mask, where they'll have a default body that I'd equip them with alternate armor styles and things like that. Of course, I'm always in the habit of always just altering proportions, but this is a nice, I'll go off of the alternate, all other models just to see. You got a bunch of desert robe cows with a little sword and things like that. A little half and half cow, and more of a belly dancer type. And I think there is one more, I think. Oh. Where is it? I could swear I made... I thought I made more. Oh well. But yeah, I've kind of just been fiddling around with that. And I believe I've also been trying to experiment with importing them into pixel art. So let me pop open a sprite real quick. Let's see, large characters. Bada boom. So currently what I've been experimenting with is getting some pixel art stuff done for the cows here, where I would actually head swap their default looks here. So while I have the bear character right here, I would head swap him as, with a bull head instead. They probably have an alternate weapon or something like that. And I've been working with horses as well, and it's kind of strange. Horses are apparently they have longer legs than, cows and bovines and all that stuff, so strangely enough, they're kind of taller and, not as squat. So I've also been just experimenting with horse characters and importing that in sprites and stuff like that. And basically I am futzing about just overall experimenting with sprites. Let me see if I can import more backgrounds up. Oh yes. This has also been another experiment that I've been trying to figure out is, going even larger and larger. So right now I've been experimenting with an elephant enemy, and that's been a bit, it's tough, because basically you have a sprite this large, and Cole, my player character, is this small, and he's already minuscule compared to the bear, and fairly small compared to a deer, and overall large for a Game Boy character. Sprites this large probably wouldn't fit a Game Boy cart, and that's actually kind of been putting me in a slight conflict, as nobody will believe that kayfabe of a mock Game Boy game. And I've been debating with myself with putting this game on either making it in color, where I would give it more of a other coloring style. Probably that would probably look good. I could readjust it. But yeah, just figuring out whether or not it would look better in color, because how realized the world is. But I do like the green aesthetic personally. I like working with the limits of black and white stuff and the monochrome and all that stuff, because it also just makes my character design shine the most. So that's kind of just been me figuring it out. Overall, it's mostly I'd probably just decide that when we have the demo out and we get some actual feedback. If we get a lot of people that say the green is hard to look at or it's boring to look at, then I'll probably just make some harder calls on whether or not to put the game in color or not. Yeah. Thank you for the hydrate. I am enjoying a can of dry ginger ale right here. Yeah. Here we go. We got a dumb sponsorship of ginger ale. And I have this big bottle of water here because, you know, just drinking soda is not good for you, so. There we are. Anywho's, we should probably get started on my commission, because that's what you're here for, is watching me do commissions and possibly do pixel art. I'm gonna spend an hour on this commission because it's currently 7 o'clock. So I'm gonna work on this commission, see if I can get as many of these characters shaded as possible, and you know, then I'll be able to just get started here. So currently I am working at, you know, getting, you know, the dragon and octopus, other dragon, the lady done, and that should actually, so that would finish. There are some other finishing touches I want to add. Oh, the demon's still left. Oh, well then, you know, I'll do that later. I might even just do that off stream. I should, yeah, I'll figure it out as I go. Oh yes, let's get back to, you know, just working on the commission now. So, overall, I think I'll start with the octopi since he'll be a simpler bet. And he's slightly simple. And we'll call you Octomask. Because this guy has a name. He's like, he's a blue Magic the Gathering card called Ovar the All Form. And basically, what he really looks like is this. Looks more humanoid and, well, obviously realistic. And you know, here I am, futzing about with the chibi. So, you know, it's gonna be nice and cute, and I'm gonna be doing that for the next. Oh, there's a little glow. Okay, all right. Yeah, it's got like, I'm seeing details that could work, and I'm like, huh, that would look kind of cool. Yeah, with all these knots, maybe I should have made him a pretzel and not in a pudding. Yeah. It's kind of weird. It's kind of like you come up with new ideas as you go and just work on this, and you're like, oh, well then, I thought of a slightly better idea than I had now that I've like taken some time away. But that's kind of just one of those things where it is what it is, and kind of can't really just change stuff up. But let me see here. Let me look at my big like background here. So I have I have a separate monitor that's just this entire illustration zoomed out on another monitor, and whenever I zoom in on the alternate monitor, I'll see it zoomed out anyway on the navigator, and no one will be the wiser because, well, it's zoomed out. That looks good. Basically, what I want to do is make sure the lighting is from top down. So, right, like top, in would be the rough lighting gist. It'll sort of work well. I think if I refined the center girl a little bit more, it'll look more consistent. But also, this is to just get things going here. And a little bit that I can do right now is to just start shading and build up some momentum, because overall it is tough to start. And one giant thing that you can do to make sure that you can get over little bits of artist block or creative block in general is to try to break down your actions as small as possible. So in my case, since all this stuff is already colored, I'm focusing on only shading. That's all I need to do. Just shade. Just shade and establish the light source. That's all I need to do. And that will help alleviate the starting anxiety, where you don't know where you want to start and you don't want to ruin it. So this is me kind of just working on myself to get myself to work. And obviously doing the stream and having something to stream also helps. You're doing a bunch of stuff and you want to make it, you want to have content to stream. Like, that's kind of the gist of being a dumb Twitch streamer, is gotta have all the content, gotta like content bro it up. I could erase this line right here. Of course, you're not like absolutely a Twitch streamer. Like, I occasionally play video games, but overall I do art in general. Like, I prefer just playing video games myself in my private corner on my Switch that only I can afford, because it's the only thing I can really afford. Because freaking the PlayStation 5 is $500. Like, I could spend that on a table at Anime Central. Well, actually, no, ASIN's tables aren't that expensive. But C2E2, like, I could spend that on like a C2E2 table, and I would probably make back that money at a decent amount. I think I could make back $500. Yeah, I'm sure I can make back $500 at C2E2. It's it's something. Establishing where the grooves are on his mask here. And sometimes, you gotta pick and choose how much you really want to spend and stuff like that, because obviously, we're not made of money. Most artists are starving, and I'm sort of no exception. Well, since I have a job, I'm not completely starving, but, art itself hasn't paid the bills, at least not yet. That's the hope. So, fingers crossed, donate to the Twitch thing. Give me a Twitch sub. I'll figure out what the hell to do with those subs. I do need to make emoticons, actually. I have one emoji, and that's the bread cat. But I need to work on some more to kind of just, make it worth subbing to me, because I see that I'm kind of like, okay, that's kind of cool. But then you have no idea what the hell to do with all these subs. And you know what? I think I'm gonna actually put a light here and light his cowl a bit more. So, up here, and then that should be good. There we go. So now I'm just going to be lighting now. Just work on the default light mask and figure out how his hood works. Doing a little bit of that. Starting with a large brush and then just refining and refining. like add a little bit of fall off. Okay. I like get rid of you to establish the shing a little bit more. This line looks like it's where the fold of the cloth is, so I probably at least acknowledge that. Yeah, this the Concept Craig brush from Friendin has been my crutch brush, and honestly, I'm tired of pretending it's a cheat, because it's not. Whatever works, and I make that happen. Yeah, so far so good. The some of the tentacles could be slightly darker, so let's see if I can. Oh, that's a lot of layers there. I think I might merge some of them a bit. There we are. That's looking better already. Just adding a wee bit of lighting to get that going here. And establish the space. Put that down. Establish some little crevices of dark to get you going. Not get you going, but kind of just push it further and further back. Give it some more depth. Right. That out. Out. I need to get rid of that line. Plus erase this as well. There we are. And I probably should have layered this over, but it's neither here nor there. I should also probably put these in a folder. Call it overpainting maybe. That should work. And since I still haven't saved yet, I shall save now. And that should work, and it'll take a bit to save. Meanwhile, I will take another drink of ginger ale. Nope. Real good. Okay. So now, yep. Hold on. Oh. That's not what I want, but it'll have to do. Okay. I think what I'll do for this is I'll push you darker, push you oranger. Because this is a slight pudding. And let me see if I can't find my ref of pudding here. It's someplace. Alright, dig in the, gotta hit the shower real quick. I'll probably stream till 9. That is the plan. Stream till 9, probably work on this for an hour, then work on some pixel art, get some of that done, and wrap at 9 o'clock p.m. So probably in currently 7, 8, 9. It's currently not 2 hours. So I'll be streaming for 2 hours. Or at least I'll be getting as much done as I can for 2 hours. If I can find it. Alright, references. Fantastic, my food references aren't there. That's nice. Fantastic, I don't have any pudding references either. Ruby. Download folder. Anything. No, I didn't even download it. You gotta be kidding me. Oh, looks like I'm downloading. That's how it be. Or I could wing it. Let's see. Someplace. Alright, getting a little bit of it. Pretty large. I am. I mean, you're good at that? Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, just winging it. Yeah, but it never hurts to like add reference because, again, it is still basic. It's all still basic, you know, shading and stuff like that. Of course, you know, it takes a bit of we'll lag my brushes a little bit. Good enough. Push you smaller, then that'll work. Because I realized I'm using the one of my pencil brushes, which is meant to be really tiny, but it's actually working pretty well for this brush actually, or at least this shading. So I'm gonna see if I can't just work at that. Get the shading down. A nice dirty splotch. That'll look real good. And clear out the sloppier line art. Clear it out. Nice and straightforward. And again, I am searching for victories. Just trying not to overscope, but instead finding tiny victories in little parts in the project. In this case, it's shading. And getting that shading down. Maybe using the using an ink brush to clean up the lines underneath. That will at least give it a cleaner look-see. And then you can try to just mask this out as well. Or I could just use a mask, actually. That way, even if I color on it, it won't destroy it. And kind of just establish where the dragon is. That way, no matter how much I color on, I won't have to worry about this. Well, I'll sort of need to worry about that, but this will look fine. Let's see, texture brush. Try to like see if I can't blend you just a wee bit. Yeah. But I will use it on this. See if I can't tilt you a little bit darker. Establish the head here. And like close out this shading right here. That should look good. And it's the beginning of starting to get rid of the lighting here, because again, this is supposed to be from top down. So this would likely just be where it rounds in. So it'd probably be like, surface will be like this. So it would roll into it and probably blend in a way, as opposed to it being more square. Yeah, it'd just be a flat surface, no like way to roll in. Like the light would roll into shadow on a more rounder object as opposed to a corner object. That's what I'm trying to do for this spot. The lighting is, oh, I freaking shaded on this spot. Yeah, well, I'll make it work. And, you know, this brush is soft enough that I can't get away with it. I could just use the airbrush, but you know, this is such a small detail that's kind of irrelevant. Like, I could probably just get away with not even doing that. There we are. Looking pretty decent. I like clean this up with more paint. And I could actually establish a bit of a shine to you now. Because again, this is such small detail that there we are. Yeah, this is such small detail that I don't have to worry too hard about. What was I saying? Just the top of the lighting here. I just do this, establish where it's getting lighter. and figure out like little bits to blend. Though this is looking a little... This is looking a little bit too white, so I'm gonna adjust the hue so it's yellowish more. Push the saturation just a wee bit more. Lighten it up. Bada bing, bada boom. Looking much better. Because it initially looked a little bit more white, but now it's much brighter looking. I probably add a wee bit more light to this. May have this be a rim light. That could work. Yeah, maybe have a few of these be having a slight rim light. It's kind of funny because it's the same color as the default. I just established a little bits of shine. Probably could have the this lighting to be more yellower. Oh. Okay, leaving the lasso too much. Built the hue so it's a little bit yellower. That's looking good. So I have a little bit of adjusting to do with this spot actually. Yeah, one day I'll be able to touch type lighting. Establish a tiny bit of shine here. Get the little bits of shine at the top. A little bit of shine at the middle here, just turning into slight fall off. That'll make it all work. There we are. Slight reflection here. Again, I'm using the blending away brush, where the brush falls off. But I establish more color closer to where the light source will be. That way, it'll look like there's a little bit of lighting before I give a bit more white light here. And try to take as much advantage of the lighting as I can and try to fall this off. Crank this slightly. Good. Okay. And now I can go even higher. And with the white color, this is the highest point in the color here. All the way to the top. Alright. let me look at the his eyes once again. So weirdly enough, there's a bit of an inner glow here, and I don't know if I can get a higher res version of this picture, but this is the highest res I managed to find. Because I think I went to the artist's website himself, Chase Stone, and I'm sure this is the highest he put in. If he had a higher one, I don't know. Now let me save. Saving this. Come on. Should work. And then probably just work on get this going. Establish the lighting. I like eye lights. Then I'll select the eye so nothing else goes out. I may just start with the airbrush real quick. This isn't the airbrush, this is my paintbrush. Yeah, you'll work. Push it even more. Then, gonna use this and then use the overlay filter or layer setting. And the same color. And you pretty much just get another overlay just right off that. And you still don't need to go straight to white just yet. That's pretty nice. And then you can go maybe like 3, and that'll be a nice inner glow. Maybe just add some shading. Get this tilted here. Now should work good. Again, I'm kind of just doing a lot to emulate where the heck this is in a tiny way. And so far it's working. In fact, I think I'm nearly done. Or I could just consider myself done with this, because yeah, it looks great. I could probably like darken this some more. Or lighten it. Yeah, because you don't want to immediately go for black. So if you're rendering a dark color and you can't go any darker, instead of trying to go darker, try to go lighter. And then you'll establish the visual of it looking darker. Because at the end of the day, you want to basically just say, hey, this is looking like there's shading in this area. So that's the real gist of why you're doing this, is to establish that there's lighting from this. So oh, maybe I can't just leave it. It's not that big of an issue. Though I can start establishing the tip of U. How big is the file size for this now? Yeah, I haven't checked actually. Though obviously I can reduce the size to pretty small, but let's actually look. How large is this current file size right now? Let's see. So this version is currently 1.39 gigabytes. So it's pretty large. It's chunking right now. Like, I could probably get away with flattening some of these, flattening some of the renders right now. But my machine's running decently that I don't really need to do that at the moment. I mean, so far so good. You know, again, it's this large, and 14 by 24 isn't too bad. I could probably do something where I could adjust the image resolution, bump it down to maybe 150, and then it'll be easier to just work with. And just reestablish U, because bigger brushes can work on a smaller canvas. It's just sometimes if you're doing things like more precise stuff, like if you're doing things like line art, that can be a bit of an issue. Yeah, like if you're doing stuff like this, where you want to have razor thin lines, that might be a slight issue. But then you can change the size back to change the image resolution back to 300, even like 350. Have a little slight higher thing, and it should be a good reproduce size. Oh, okay, it's back to its larger size. And honestly, whoa, got jackies. Yeah, that was actually a bit of a mess up. So, what I'm actually gonna do is go to history and pray that I didn't just bork myself. Change image resolution. Change image resolution. Okay. I think I might have this. I'm not completely forked. Just gotta take a bit to go all the way back to the history. So now, just gonna erase that forward progress. That works. It's kind of weird with like digital painting and stuff like that, because on the one hand, it works better for sketching stuff. It's easier to render and it's easier to render and paint and stuff for some brushes. But for me personally, I like it at 300 DPI because it's closest to print paper, and I like drawing on paper. and it drives me batty when my brushes just aren't one-to-one with what I want to draw. So this is as close to, you know, me just drawing on a physical 14 by 24 piece as I can. So far so good with this. I think I accidentally erased some of the shading actually. Okay, it looks slightly good though. That looks good. It looks back to normal. Okay. And I'm gonna do a bit of fixing here, because I set up this mask to be slightly larger than it needs to be. There we are. Looking better. So now we'll get the dirg down. Save you. And now finish the ginger ale. Take a swig of water, because gotcha. Open. Enjoy some normal water. Is if there's anything different from normal water. I guess subby water would be abnormal water, or like smart water or Voss or whatever it is. Let's see. Yeah. Normal water and then life water. The Sobe life water. Alright, first things first. Establish shade. Gotta throw shade here. I could probably make you larger. Full screen you. Side, I'll like put this here, and then I can get rid of the color right here. Put the plate here, and I'm gonna shade the plate like this, cause I'm probably gonna like rim light it just a wee bit. And add some shading to the under plate. And do a wee bit of that. Okay. Just establish a little bit of lighting, and then refine the area just a bit more so it looks rounder. That's looking better. And then just add a little bit of lighter. Yeah, that's what it's called. Lightering. That way I can just establish the slight rim light going on at the moment. You know what? I'll mask this out later. Work on the horns. Lighting's still going from here, so wee bit that. And then it will morph up like this. Okay. Go in. I'm getting better with this brush. I'm liking that. Just refining the horns just a bit more. Overall, I really need to make sure that I'm staying as large with my brush as possible, so I don't end up like string rendering, where you're using a tiny thin brush to render. It just looks like strings, which is fun for something like ink art and things like that. But if you're painting, you really don't have to. You should take advantage of the fact that the brushes can blend and all that stuff. And of course, re-establishing the lighting with using my transparent brush to get rid of color. So basically, it's like having a paintbrush and a turpentine brush just in the one spot here. I'm gonna nudge you further down. This is still the shade layer here. Shade layer. Boom. And then that'll work here. There we go. Yeah, I could go larger. There we are. It's kind of weird because I think this mix is a really old version of Stemage's Metroid Metal mixes, because I think they've made new albums of Metroid Metal, and I just haven't really changed my mix of those. Because I think I downloaded this back in probably 2006 or something. So, and I've actually heard they're more like modern Metroid Metal song albums, and I'm sure they're probably better, but I guess for nostalgia reasons I don't like the new ones overall. Sorry. Let's see, I could probably round this out to kind of just establish that this jaw is over. Probably establish you over this. Get some eye bags and get some nice hooded eyes here, because the brow's fairly over the eye light here. It's your brow is slightly over your eye socket, so it's giving that hooded look. And there's a wee bit of light kind of just establishing it's hardened up here. It's kind of like a death claw that I'm looking at this. I'll probably just do this, and then I'll probably add some. Keep saying probably. I'm always being half-hearted about all of my stuff, where I keep saying probably and being non-committal about everything. And that's one thing that I really need to work on, is having more confidence in my expertise. Because this is stuff I do all the time, right? Like, my brain says, yes, you do this all the time. This is not new to you. Why are you so scared of doing stuff? Like, logically that makes sense, and sometimes you gotta pep talk yourself into being more sure of yourself. I'd say when you're an artist doing all this stuff, being creative and, being sensitive Sam, showing your emotions and bearing them out to the world and all that romantic stuff. And you kind of realize that stuff can kind of hinder you, where you end up constantly you end up in a constant loop of self-loathing, where it's more than just suffering for your art. You're in this self-loathing spot, I think. Yeah, it's connected to the suffering for the art. I can't think of the words of it, but it's connected to, artists being like, I must suffer for my work and stuff like that. And it can balloon into things like romanticizing depression and feeling like what your work doesn't matter, and believing that, constantly just shitting on yourself just because you weren't as ideal as you wish you were. Or maybe in my case, I'm not as ideal as I wish I was. And it's an easy way to get yourself in just that sad boy mindset where you never feel like you'll amount to shit because you're just here doing, roughly, not doodles. Like, I don't want to disparage myself, but, that's the thought. You keep thinking that your masterpiece is just crap-ass doodles. Like, on Twitter, I've posted a lot of cows, and I've kind of seen them as just simple doodles that I flat-colored because they're pen drawings that I scanned in my sketchbook probably a month from last year. And you don't feel like you can do things with those cows just on it. What am I walking in on? Just some dragons and stuff like that. You're kind of just talking about feeling crappy about your own work. And basically, it's difficult to get yourself to not always shit on your own work just because either you have a lot of self-loathing or it's this twisted idea of being humble, and you kind of just end up hypnotizing yourself into just not thinking that your work's good because you haven't gotten this imaginary real result. So it's difficult to get yourself out of the sad boy mindset of constantly crapping on your own work because you're always seeing little flaws in your artwork when most people probably don't see them. Like, only anal retentive dipshits see flaws in artwork, and maybe art teachers. But honestly, art teachers don't pay your rent, so it's a little dismissive, but it's sort of true. Like, once you leave art school, it's kind of on you of whether or not you want to give weight to your art stuff here. And thanks. Thank you. I'm good. I need to thank more people for the compliments and be good at taking those compliments and not just defaulting into the negative thing of, well, I saw this flaw and I saw that flaw, and kind of ignoring the compliment. Like, whenever you get a compliment, you end up kind of just defending your mistake or kind of just shitting on your own work. You're kind of like making the complimenter look like an idiot because they spent their time trying to think of a way to say something nice to you, and you're immediately shutting that down. So what does that say about them giving you future compliments? You know, that tells them, well, I shouldn't give them future compliments because it wouldn't really matter to them. That's what they probably won't say that exactly, but that's what they're subconsciously saying in their secret lizard brain whenever you're constantly shitting on your own work. And it's very easy to constantly believe that being positive is dumb because it feels like an insult to your real feelings. Like, you feel like, oh, this guy just wants me to be positive because, you know, they just want to ignore the problem. And, you know, there's a time and place for that. Obviously, you know, if somebody's going to use positivity to ignore, like, legit problems, like your leg getting cut off, that's psychotic. Fuck that person for ignoring your leg getting cut off. Get to a hospital. That kind of thing. But that's such a outlier that no one really needs to, like, think about that, you know? I know, I'm a retired artist, I know, and it's getting hard getting good and bad ones. And that's the thing about art, it's all about customers' perception. Yeah, exactly. It's all about your customers' perception, and at the end of the day, if they're still paying you, what do you got to worry about? If the customer says that the job's done, the job's done. Let it go home, put up your brushes, take the check, put the check in your piggy bank, and go to the next project. Like, they like it enough that they gave you money for it. So you as Johnny Artman, like, that's the end all be all of it. Like, you are now done with caring. And you don't have to give a crap anymore. And I think that can probably be a positive when it comes to getting your work to, you know, getting artwork done overall is, this was okay. I'm also getting better at just painting over some of my mistakes. Like, usually I would blow a lot of time erasing the mistakes, but I think I've gotten better at just painting over mistakes whenever I have them. And just doing that. And I think that was a technique from acrylic painting and I guess by extension oil painting, because I think this is also an oil painting technique. But I learned acrylic painting first, so you know, that's neither here nor there. But yeah, painting over your mistakes, and you know, it looks good. It's looking pretty good. His undercarriage is looking fantastic right here. You probably add a little bit of a ink reflect and try to see if I can't nudge this browner. So it's not an obvious pink reflection, but you can see that the coloring starts to bounce to them. Maybe I'm overcomplicating it. It's kind of weird. This is looking good. I need to paint just slightly up and tilt it to pink, and that'll be good. Okay, looking good, looking mighty fine. Nice, like, little slight bounce light, and reminds to zoom out and see what your customers are going to see. Oh yeah, I have a navigator. I have a navigator panel from Clip Studio Paint on a separate monitor here. Let me see if I can't freaking get you out here. So this I have a navigator in Clip Studio Paint, and that's just the window workplace. Wait, no, it'd be like window, and then you check navigator, and you get a little navigator where it just shows you the entire drawing. And I have this on a separate window, or at least on my other monitor, so you know, whenever I'm zoomed in, I can still take a glance at my monitor, or in case, you know, the monitor where my webcam's facing. So whenever I'm just staring at the webcam like this, I'm actually looking at my either reference photos or the actual zoomed out thing. So that's kind of a little inside baseball thing that I'll explain to you. And I'm realizing that it's getting a little dark. You're probably seeing my face vanish in here. Yeah, so far so good. It's just getting those people to contact you is a pain. Oh yeah, exactly. I think that's probably the actual toughest part about doing freelance art or independent art, is getting people to know you exist. It's kind of like, at conventions it's easier because you're an artist at a table. Like you're an artist at a table along with another bunch of artists, and you're at an event. And if people like your style and you have a sign that says, yes, you take commissions for, you know, these prices, you have your signs, and if it's a fair enough price, and honestly, most people are charging really low. You know, you're seeing internet commissioner prices, and you think they're good deals, but personally, I see artists just taking a massive loss. Like, you're always seeing artists being like, oh, I have to make a doctor's appointment, so I'm taking $5 emergency commissions. I'm like, you're not gonna pay for your hospital payments on just like $5 commissions, because like you'd have to do a shit ton of drawings to even get like a prescription, and that's more work. That's going to ruin your health even further, and that's gonna screw you over in the longer run. When an actual professional would charge like at least minimum wage for an hour. Like in the state of Illinois, minimum wage I believe is $15 an hour roughly. We're progressive and yada yada, and we're here getting a good decent wage. So you're out here, you charge $15 because it would probably take you an hour to finish the sketch, and that's usually my personal litmus test for gauging your prices. A little pro tip for people just starting out with learning art business: if you don't know how much to charge, just start charging hourly. Maybe like take some time to time yourself with a timer, like use your phone timer, use things like what's it called? Use things like the Toggle app, TOGGL, and it'll count down the timer. I'm currently using the Toggle app to kind of just record my stream and kind of just record this just for my own personal reference, and just make sure I know how much I would charge for a project like this. I would have that information, write it down someplace, and then you would analyze the actual hourly rate, and you have the choice of either like doing that flat charge or doing the hourly rate, like if you were talking to a person about how much and how long it would take for them to make it. So you would do that. Yeah, I had one doing it for rent and doing commissions for like $80, 80 to 100, and 100 for animations. Yeah, 100 for animation. That's a little cheap. But yeah. It's kind of like, yeah, you're doing that. You're trying to make rent, and you're only barely skirting by because you're charging very little for the time you're spending, plus the effort, plus the materials, like, you know, Clip Studio Paint, even though it's still way cheaper than Photoshop, it's still like, you know, it's a good $50. That's gas money. Like, I don't know if Clip Studio Paint has a sale right now. It probably is. It's always on sale, Clip Studio Paint. Let's see. So right now, Clip Studio Paint, well, it's on version 2. Boom, buy now. One-time purchase, $50, and they're doing their monthly usage for 99 cents a month. And if you did the math, and I'm gonna pull out a calculator real fast. So they say it's 99 cents a month, right? So 0.99 times maybe like 12. That's $11 a year versus a one-time purchase of $50. And that could be good for if you're not keeping it for a year, but usually you're gonna have it for a year. So let's see here. Monthly usage plans. It does like give you like the entire device. This is Pro. And a monthly price of it's actually $4.99. Well then. Well, the EX version, like if you want the highest end possible one, a monthly payment for $8.99. So let's do the math for that. Clear that. 0.899 times 12 for like a year. That's 107, and 88 cents versus the annual like $71. So you're getting a slight discount, probably like for the bulk payment. And now that's for basically you have the device, you have the you have a computer device plus maybe like an iPad version, the phone app. Yeah, pretty much. Up to 2 devices. Premium pan, up to 4 devices. Because I have a computer and a phone and an iPad. So if I want to just round out my entire thing and just cover my butt, like this is for like cloud saving between devices. So if I'm working on my iPad, I continue that, and then I come home and I continue working on it for that, I'd be paying nearly $15 a month. That's a Netflix subscription, which, that's, basically that's a Netflix subscription. Where's my calculator? Crap, did I close it? Calculator. I'm like, why did I close my calculator? Oh yeah, $14.99 times 12. That's $179.98. So if you pay just for the monthly payments, that's just like, or that's, several times more. And obviously if you pay for the annual payment, it's still a flat fee, but in the long run you are paying less. And that's kind of how they get you with the monthly payments. Because with monthly payments overall, it's cheaper. You usually will not have like nearly $200 on hand. But if you're paying it annually, it's overall cheaper. But let's see. If you got the EX version, which you would just have it forever, that's $219, so that's like $220. And even that is still way cheaper than Photoshop itself. But at the end of the day, it's probably like much less than if you paid it year by year. But again, that's if you're not going to completely use it all the time. So that's something you gotta weigh when it comes to a lot of these, payment plans and paying for software. And that's just paying for the software. You still have to pay for a Wacom tablet if you're gonna be like doing big draw on screen professional stuff. Or you could get like a smaller input pad. This is a light table, but I'm saying like this is a smaller. If you're getting a smaller, it's not a tablet, but no, it is a tablet. Because this is a monitor display. Wacom Cintiq is display something. I forget what the actual term is, but there's actually there are separate terms for like things like the Bamboo and things like that, and the Intuos versus like a Cintiq. But yeah, there's a lot of cost to it, and you gotta factor that in when you're doing the commissions and stuff like that, especially for like freelancing for people. You gotta basically charge people for not just your time, but the time it took for you to learn the stuff, plus the time it took for you to acquire the stuff to learn your stuff, plus the amount that it took for you to pay for like things like monthly payments or brushes. Yeah, your prices depend a little on the customer's money and also how much detail you put into it and what bills you have. Also how many commissions that you do a month. Oh yeah, exactly. You got, it's basic, it's business learning, I'd say. You're figuring out what your resources are, your product, so to speak. You're figuring out how much you produce versus how much the demand is. That's like I don't know, supply and demand 101. Thing is, you are basically the supply, and since you're not in the studio, you basically have to gauge the demand yourself. You can't really rely on, well, you're not in the studio. Since you're not in the studio, you don't have the luxury of finding out what the demand for most of this stuff is. So I like go nice and shiny. Yeah, figuring out the demand is obvious. You're obviously like trying to figure that out, and it's also a matter of like finding out whether you're popular or not. I mean, obviously that's a guess. Like, if nobody knows who you are, you really can't do much to get people to pay for your work, since they don't know who the hell you are. You could be like shit for all they know. And that's a difficult part about working and getting paid and stuff like that. But obviously that's where networking and all that stuff goes. You're letting people know you exist, hopping in the communities of, I guess, other established artists and making yourself known. Not just constantly hawking your wares, but instead kind of just making yourself useful, probably, like making yourself interesting and showing people what you're about and what your art's about, and kind of just letting people know that you're fairly reliable or you're fairly helpful, that kind of stuff. And obviously, there's a way that you're gonna be doing that as a sociopath, and obviously there's a wrong way, but usually you won't have bad intents. Like if you're basically you people can tell if you're fake. You know, they can tell if you're kind of just being this hustle bro motherfucker. And you know, people can tell. And you shouldn't worry too hard about it. Like, you know how people say just be yourself, brah. Just be yourself and don't try too hard, brah. Don't try hard, man. You're acting like a tryhard. Just gotta not try, you know, brah. And that sort of advice. I think what that advice is really saying is that when you're acting desperate, I'm guessing, that's when people can kind of just feel that desperate. I'm guessing the lizard brain would like be able to feel the desperation in you. So that kind of thing can be a problem. Which is why it's like, whenever I'm at servers, I usually will not like shill my stuff in those servers whenever I can, because it's like, you know, they don't know crap about me. They're probably not even like knowing I exist overall. And me kind of just shilling myself there, that's, you know, that's in poor form. Like, that's asshole behavior. Like, this ain't my place to just shill stuff. So, you know, I just keep that for, you know, my more public personal thing. So, you know, I usually do all my shilling on Twitter or Instagram or just social medias and stuff like that. And I do that instead of like doing it in like the personal. That's the personal like servers I frequent. That's for just hanging out and fucking around and posting dank memes and stuff like that. Yeah, the business part of it. Well, you have an image, right? Yes, you have an image to sell. And that's the basics of it. You have an image to sell, and it's on you to sell such a thing. This is still lighting, right? Yep, this is lighting. Yeah, get you nice and flat here. Clear you out. Bingo. What was I saying again? Yeah, image is everything. What they say is what they say. Yeah, of course. You know, obviously you're an artist, so you know, first impressions count overall. You know how pictures are worth 1,000 words, and first impressions are always a thing. That's both for art and overall for life. You're trying to, I guess, design yourself to be as interesting and appealing as possible. So obviously, well, it's not that obvious. What am I saying? Basically, you gotta figure a creative way to get people on board with what you do. You gotta get them to pick up what you're putting down. That's such a stupid saying, but that's kind of gist of it. And overall, I am speaking from experience of kind of just learning how to do this in my life. You know, I've gotten myself good at finding conventions through just diligence. Like, I make sure that I'm keeping up with emails and making sure that thanks for a stretch. I'll redeem that. What was I saying? So basically, I'm figuring out how life works overall, and probably do this. Yeah, kinda. This would be more coney. I should get rid of this shading right there. Oh yeah, that's how I did it. Oh yeah, that's basically just that. You're constantly just going to cons, talking to other artists about cons they go to, and basically just getting info, being diligent about, answering emails or sending the right information for the artist alley coordinators to, see your default stuff, or not default stuff, but see your artwork, make sure your artwork's out there. Obviously, have a portfolio. That's art business 101. Have a portfolio. Like, that is, well, this is probably a given, but for those who were watching my stream are fairly young, maybe like still in school and just haven't noticed that, if you want to do art for money, have a spot where people can see samples of your work. Obviously, like, social media works, but it's not like immediate, because otherwise you'll be constantly posting and reposting your work on the feed, because social media is like a river. It's constantly moving, and people are seeing and forgetting images all the time. But for those who still will remember your images, they want an easy spot to find it. So if you have a gallery, like say DeviantArt and ArtStation are kind of crap, but if you don't care about the foibles of DeviantArt and ArtStation, that's a fine place, a fine solidary spot to post your work, and it'll permanently be there for people to just go to, and then people will be able to just go back to that. Or you can send a link to your gallery and they'll know what you're about. But it's better that you have a website overall, personally, for me. Like, if you have a website, that's your home base, it's yours. And web hosting, like, these days, it's like $15, I think, a year. Like $15 a month. And, it's totally worth it if you're serious about being professional, or at least serious about just doing art for money. And honestly, it's just overall good to just have a place to just post your stuff and post you and your content. You don't have to worry about an algorithm or dealing with a feed. It's, pertinent information. I use it to just do blogs. Instagram's kind of dead unless you pay to push. Instagram's kind of just crap for that. I have a Threads account, and I kind of just stopped posting on Threads because I just don't give a crap. It's the same art at Threads, and it's just more phone apps that I just cannot be asked to keep on my phone. So it's like, you know what? If Threads becomes large, I at least Camp Dundee username. So if I want to post on it again, nobody else can impersonate me. So I mean, that's basically just why I jumped on Threads. It's connected to Instagram, so it's easy as hell to, just connect. So I didn't have to worry about, making a whole new thing and typing in my email. I mean, obviously Zuckerberg has my information, but honestly, we're already fucked. Like, most of my family has a Facebook account, and none of them really give that much of a crap because, that's life. Like, everybody's on Facebook, or at least all the old people that I still want to stay in contact with are on Facebook, and we don't really have each other's phone numbers because why the fuck would anyone talk to people, with recorded phone device? Like, why would you use your smartphone to make phone calls? Like, that's insanity. But, you know, I digress. You know, it's one of those things where I think this was a hell of our own making, that we were so obsessed with just the convenience that we end up kind of just throwing out older, slower things that worked, but no longer, you know, we don't have access to it because we basically threw it out. That looks good. Yeah, we basically just threw out such a thing. Oh, your connection's messed up. Don't worry about it. I will be here for as long as you need. Or at least till 9. And I realize that I've spent more than an hour working on this. It's 8:17 right now. But I want to at least finish this dragon. Because it's looking great. But like, crank this rendering up just a wee bit. But there yet, probably just get rid of this. Because it's an unnecessary line. And I could probably just use his default skin color. And that's more than enough. I can probably just get away with his default skin color just being down here. Yeah, that looks better. Looks better. We probably darken the shade of the eyes just a wee bit more. Just to push the eyes inside just a little bit more. Now add some more contrast. Then use the lighter part to establish a little bit more volume. And the eye stands out much more. That's good. So, the tongue inside, I believe that's actually glowing. I think I set that up so it's glowing more often. Let me look at his refs. Yeah, I mean, he's glowing inside overall. And probably doesn't even legit have a purple tongue. I think what I want to do right now is kind of just establish that he has light inside of him. Let's see. Could probably flat color select. But then deselect the tongue area and focus on his mouth glowing inside. That'll work. Push you up. Push it yellower. And then we'll probably just use the airbrush here. Yeah, this is normal. 1 second. I'll be right back. Someone's calling me. Alright, I return. I'm back to dealing with some stupid crap. I had to move my car because my dad was trying to call me, and we had to get into an argument about stupid shit. You know, it's one of those things where it's like, you know, that's life for you. When you're living with your parents, you have to live by their fucking rules and their stupid horse shit. And, you know, when you don't really have the cash to kind of just go someplace else, you kind of just feel frustrated at life, and it reaffirms your negativity bias. And it keeps reminding you that shit just sucks. Everyone else is in the same boat, and everything's just a colossal pile of suck. So, it's difficult to not feel like angry, raging shit and feel like nothing you do fucking matters. Because, what's life but all this stupid horse shit? Why the fuck isn't this painting? Fuck this. Holy shit. I'm trying to do something and you're just... Fuck this. Yeah. I think I might just wrap the stream because I'm just too fucking pissed right now. What a fucking shit day. You try to feel like you're relaxing, try to get some work done. Just roll yourself up, do something private instead of like deal with the stupid shit in the world. And you kind of just realize, oh, you can't truly escape from the stupid shit in the world. No matter what you do, no matter who you are, there's always going to be stupid shit around you. And you have to deal with it. There's no free pass. There's no escape from it. There's no just general, you don't have to do this type of thing. It's the rad, raw deal, and that's life. And, you gotta just deal with it. You think, oh, things could be much worse. Yeah, well, things could be much, much better. But guess what? That's not how things are. So pardon me for my rage rant, I'll probably cut this out of... Nah, I'll keep it. Not like anyone watches the fucking streams anyway. What's there? Whatever. Let's just get back to work and try to salvage the little bits of good vibes that I'm trying to hang on to. Because that's how it be. You're around other people and you have to deal with that. You're not an exception. Even though on the inside you badly wish you were. You wish that you could just take a break from people and stop just being around people who just fucking upset you. I'm kind of just overall just sick of dealing with other people giving me shit for stuff that's overall out of my control. Like, you're doing everything right and you just still get screwed. It's kind of like, okay, I'm here. Like, is it really that fucking urgent that I move my car now with the fucking oil thing? This isn't my fault that you're going to fucking repave the driveway. It ain't my fucking problem with this shit. You're the one who spent money to go repave the driveway. So why should I give a shit about this? It ain't my driveway. I don't own it. It ain't my shit. Maybe I'm just fucking projecting my frustrations in life on this stream right now, but that's kind of just how that is. I go to a therapist for shit like this, I just deal with this because I can't talk to anyone about this, honestly. Like, my frustrations in life are completely alien to most people. And you probably think, oh, you're... oh, I'm not alone in this, everybody has problems, but it's kind of like, yeah, everybody has problems, but not in that unique way that, you have those personal problems. It's like, Everyone has a different personality. Well, everyone has different problems. And it's not like, as same as these problems are, they're still just so different that they still just feel unapplicable. Like, you can't just apply this set of problems to every fucking stupid issue that comes around, because you just feel like people are just condescending to you, like being like, oh, you know, I get what you mean. Meanwhile, it's just vanishing. And okay, maybe I'm just being crazy right now, but I'm just fucking pissed off at life. I'm just pissed off at everything. Because no matter what I do, no matter how successful, it's not really gonna change my life. I'm not gonna feel like, oh, I'm going to, you know, once I complete this fucking thing, it's going to magically change my life. All my problems will vanish. No. The problems will not vanish when you complete this one fucking project, you know? You'll still have your problems. It's just there. You know, it's right there. You kind of just feel that, you know, no matter what you do, you're still just gonna have these problems no matter what. And trying to not let it get to you just sounds insulting to me. So that's kind of just my personal, I guess I'm airing my laundry right now. I'm kind of just getting real upset about basically nothing. Honestly, this probably doesn't even matter. Like, I'll probably not even care about this tomorrow. But this is basically a problem this is a repeating problem. Just unless I just do something else, it's never gonna solve. I'm never gonna solve my problem, because basically this is a life problem. You know, I'm stuck in the world that I didn't ask to be in, and I have to deal with that shit. Here I am, just constantly trauma dumping on stream. Why did I do that? Don't know. I don't know why I did that. Dragon's in a decent spot. You know what? Let's look at Twitch right now. 2 viewers. Well then, I have probably bored you to crap here. But, you know, it is what it is. Been streaming for 2 hours, 10 minutes. What? I'll deal with the girl, and I'll just deal with that. Because, honestly, I don't even give a shit. You know, it's the same as it ever is. Ugh. Fuck it all. I don't even know what the fuck this ain't even painting. What the fuck aren't you painting? It's the blend brush, of course. Fuck this all. Fuck this. Goddamn. Why the fuck do I have a blend brush? Let's start again. I don't know why people always just ask me to think positive about shit that happens. I'm just too fucking pissed off by the injustice of it, you know? I have to deal with it. This shit doesn't even matter. It really doesn't. Kind of just talking on stream and kind of just falling silent because I really just have not much else to say. What else could I possibly say? I stream mostly to kind of just have some art to do, and I've taken a break from streaming because honestly, like, streaming art is not that interesting unless you're like hyper talented and shit. Well, not hyper talented, but you know, drawn. I don't know, you're a more established artist, you know, you're more out there, people know who you are. So it's kind of useless to stream since you don't really have the audience that would justify you streaming, honestly. And I could like wax some stupid harsh truth shit about it, but it kind of is the truth. No, you know, you're still an unknown, so it's not like you're going to have that audience or crowd or whatever to have an interesting stream. And there's only really so much you can talk about in terms of art that's, you know, not stupid. Because, I mean, what is there? Talk about art, you talk about composition, lighting, all that fucking shit. And to you, it's rote. To other people, it's totally new, as an excuse to not go to art school. You know, it's, you know, you're learning as you're doing, and you're acquiring knowledge, and, you know, that's an admirable thing. It's just, it reminds me that everything you do is practically worthless where, you know, you could have just, it kind of just reminds me that I could have just did shit different and saved myself all this headache. Except I didn't. And you keep wondering, did you make a bad choice? You know? Did you make the wrong decision by listening to other people saying that you're really good at what you do and decide to pursue it harder? And overall, it's dejecting to kind of just see people tell you, yeah, you're totally fine, and you're seeing so many signs that it's not fine, and you keep wondering, are you being lied to? Is somebody just jerking my chain? Are they just telling me this to make me feel better? And I think that's the real imposter syndrome. This ain't like, you know, am I talented? But it's like, am I actually being, am I I'm trying to just think, okay, maybe this isn't the right path. How would I know that? You know? How would I know what's the right path for most of this shit, you know? And I'm not gonna know unless I'm on the path and I finish a path and I look back at it in hindsight. Because how the fuck are you gonna know, you know? It's really a conversation I should be having with my therapist. But my therapist is off. So I'm kind of just here to mull about how shit life is by myself. And I guess air my fucking dirty laundry out here. And you're kind of just seeing me be just a salty asshole for the rest of the stream. But honestly, it doesn't matter. Like, I think, there's 2 other viewers? I mean, there's 1 other person. Whoever's watching probably is a family member or some friend. Whatever. Holy fuck, I hate my car so much. Oh, hey. Yeah, that's the scary thing about it. You'll never know. That's why it's best to try and enjoy the ride. Yeah, you know, it's best to try and enjoy the ride. It's just, holy shit, I hate my car. I just hate driving. I wish someone else would just take the damn lead. Because sometimes I feel like I'm driving and I'm stuck in traffic. Like, metaphorically, you know, I feel more like I'm stuck than that, and you're not seeing an exit in the horizon, and you're kind of thinking, okay, I'm just gonna be stuck in this car just driving and seething over a lot of people who are probably like speeding into faster lanes or driving onto the shoulder of life, the like car shoulder, road shoulder, the off-roads of life, and they're skirting by, and here you are feeling like a sucker in your lane, like thinking that you're doing the right thing. I have the same feels about parenting. Yeah, here I am kind of like bitching about my life, and meanwhile you are a father with a wife and kid, and you actually have real responsibilities. Meanwhile, I'm here like crying about my dad like telling me that I need to move my car. But it's like, you know, I'm freaking complaining about it because I'm fucking bitch made, you know? This is the life that I just built up. You know, if I did things much better, maybe I wouldn't be such a fucking bitch about everything. I just do my best to enjoy the journey and not look at everything. Look at the ending. Don't downplay it. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, that's how it goes. You know, you're trying to just do your best. And that's the best you can really do, is just your best. And as long as you do it, you're totally fine. At least that's the hope. You know, you're doing fine, you're not in trouble, you're not doing drugs, you're not doing crimes, and everything should be solid, you know. And I need to, you know, I do try to make sure that I count my blessings with a lot of this stuff. You know, I currently keep a journal. You know, among the writing experiments that I'm doing, I'm keeping a journal. I'm trying to like write a, you know, try to make a thing where I write something positive about the day and try not to constantly think negative about everything and wonder why everything sucks so much. So that's kind of just been my, I guess, body workout experiment I've been also doing for the month. Don't downplay. You got your own path to walk, and it will have its ups and downs. That's true. And yeah, I'd say that's a colossal thing for just most people is, you know, you have your ups and downs, you have like little setbacks, and, you know, as much as you think life sucks, that's not the objective truth. Like, if you measure things, if you like actually, you know, go measure, you know, crime statistics and hunger statistics and all that, like actual statistics and stuff like that, the world's actually, well, statistically better. Like, there's technically less crime in the world than it was in the 90s. And, you know, people are getting smarter, people are getting more fed, you know, IQs are raising overall, you know, food is being distributed much better, there's less starving in the world. You know, starving kids in Africa isn't like that big of an issue these days, because food, not only has food distribution gotten slightly better, I mean, it's not like ideal, but it's climbing. But, you know, healthy foods are overall, though I think it's more of a, you know, they're not Americans, so they're not like constantly devouring processed garbage like we are. But, you know, there's not as much starving kids in Africa as, you know, pop culture would like to make you believe. Remember in pop culture when people were saying like there were starving kids in Japan, and then once you become a weeboo into anime, you're kind of like, oh, Japan. When you like learn the history of like 90s Japan, you're like, no, they were well, actually, they were in the 90s. They were actually like going down from an economic boom. Oh boy. But yeah, like 90s Japan, like, you know, they were going down, but they weren't like, they're not starving. Like, it's not like, I don't know, starving China or like Indonesia or something like that. I'm actually sure a lot of those third world countries are fine. It's just, you know, it's that like pop culture perception of people have it worse than you. You know, that stupid horse shit. And yeah, it's horse shit. Like, it doesn't, a lot of the bad things that you will see in the world isn't exactly reflective of reality. I mean, some of it's real. I'm not gonna completely ignore it. Like, obviously, you know, things like, you know, murder and death and rape happen. Like, that's not an invisible thing. It's still there. But I think in terms of, I don't know, objective reality, there's less of the problems in the world. And of course, there's billions of other things. But in general, I need to remember that not everything completely sucks. And this is just a roundabout way of just getting me to kind of just get out of my depressive episode of getting slightly criticized for some stupid life shit that overall doesn't matter. Like, sure, it's sort of struck a nerve that I'm kind of broke and I can't fix my car right now, but it's like, this doesn't need to shine. I think I'm over rendering now. I think I'm done. This needs sprinkles and stuff. I'll add sprinkles later. Let's establish the front to tail here. That should be slightly better. Use a shading here. Use the blue. Be slightly larger. Clear that up. That should be better. All this stuff, it's overall temporary. You want to make sure that it doesn't just rule your life every day. No, I don't do NSFW commissions, no. Yeah, I don't do hentai playmat stuff, so that's kind of just how that goes. I don't know if it would be allowed at the shop, though. Well, I mean, it depends on the shop owner, honestly. Like, if the shop owner is usually cool with having, lewd stuff in their shop, I mean, it's their shop, it's not a problem. Like, if somebody has a problem, that's on them. But it's literally just a shop owner. It's literally up to the shop owner. Like, overall, I don't have anything against porn. It's just, I personally don't want to do porn because I feel like, that's a more personal thing. Like, if I draw porn, I just would rather it just be me drawing porn for myself. Like, I probably would never ever take porn commissions, but that won't mean that I wouldn't do lewd stuff for my own personal amusement. Because it's for me and just me. Like, that's kind of just my point of view on the whole porn thing. It's just, I'd rather just do it for me overall. Because if I can't be comfortable just drawing for me, why the heck would I draw for anyone else's silly fetishes, yeah, I make furry art, but it's I'm still up to this personal line, whereas do I really want to do fetish stuff? I'm still just dealing with my own personal shit right now, so I'd like to not initially just deal with other people's stuff overall. So yeah, this is a roundabout way of just saying no, I do not do lewds. So that's how that goes. And yeah, I mean, that's it's obviously, it might change in the future if I ever go it so inclined, and if I feel more okay with myself. Other than that, that's neither here nor there. That's probably much long down the line. I think that's good here. Maybe a wee bit of shine, perhaps. Yeah, go all the way off whites. There we are. Looks good. Yeah, since this bone is fairly close. I don't even know if it's a bone or a tail. I mean, a scale. It looks like a spine, kinda. But then again, it kind of looks like a spine. Like at certain ends. It's, I'm already rendering you, so. Tis a spine. Alright, so far so good. You know what? 9:03, I'm still feeling lucid, so I'll see if I can do one more. Maybe like the red dragon in the back. That'll be fine. Red Dirk, he looks simple. Shade. Let's see. He actually has purple tips at the end of his fin, so I'll probably just do something like that. Extra colors. Do stuff like that, so. Probably like fill in these thin areas here. I will say that I have always wanted to figure out how I could help out my more like, not safe for work artist friends and kind of just help them get into conventions. Because I've had a few conversations with them and they've always kind of like waxed poetic about like being interested in doing like actual table shows and not really like knowing what they can do if they're not safe for work stuff. So I'm kind of like, I guess like outside of like the certain furry cons, there really isn't much like a not safe for art artist can really do in terms of convention stuff. So I'd probably like see about like actually like stopping by like say like an adult film convention or something like that to just see if there's even a freaking artist alley and see if there's something that I could do to help out. I don't even know. Though I'm pretty sure there is, because, obviously the internet exists and there are, old Playboy artists. I'm sure I'd probably meet them because, most of them are still alive. I'm sure, like, is Dean Yeagle still alive? Maybe. Maybe. I don't actually know. I don't know who's still alive in terms of, like, I guess old school Playboy cartoonists. I don't know. I legit don't know, but I'm assuming like a lot of those old school artists would know. But yeah, overall like convention stuff for that isn't really viable, really. And that's actually kind of sucky, overall, because obviously everyone likes porn and everyone wants to access porn, of course, but it's like credit card companies are screwing them and basically it's all that, I don't know, Christian guilt and shit like that. And it's kind of like basically bringing a black market blacker and putting it more underground and putting in like more stuff. I've been reading this audiobook called I think Horrors of no, it's Bathhouses, Bordellos, and Brothels. I forget the title. You know what? If I make a YouTube video, I'll like write it down. Just right there. That should be fine. But yeah, I've been like, reading this book on like the history of sex workers and things like that. And obviously, it's pretty fascinating, like hearing about like all that old stuff and, history is always good. But yeah, it's kind of like basically women are just outcasts despite being one of the few spots where women could actually just earn a real income because This is, I think, 15th, 16th century. I think a lot of this book's taking place, and like it's cowboy times that the book starts out at, and basically, it's before the women's rights movements and all that stuff, and you're just hearing about basically just trying to make a living, doing what's basically the world's oldest profession, and kind of just hearing their stories and realizing that, oh hey, people are, women are people too. I know, hot take, right? That's probably the most freaking progressive take. It's the most fucking, woke take or whatever the fuck it is. But yeah, it's like you're hearing about basically just how much it's, it's a hard life, of course. It's difficult, and not like every lady can actually just be successful at it, of course. Like anything else, you're hearing about more of the winners and less about the those who either died by some like angry asshole like murdering women and shit like that, or like getting early sexually transmitted diseases and there being no cure for it back then because it's freaking cowboy time. So it's kind of like that. And yeah, basically, you're kind of just reading up on just that, basically just unspoken part of history. Like, you're not gonna find this in like, grade school social studies, I'll tell you that much. You're going to be basically just seeing just interesting stories of people who would probably never even have a voice. That's kind of just one of those things where it's now just brought to my mind lately. This Copic brush is kind of weird for me because on one hand it's a chisel brush, but like has a weird tilt setup where it's softer on one side, but because my pen doesn't like rotate like a real marker, like it can't like do that. It can tilt, but it can't rotate. Like that's one thing that I actually royally hate most digital tablets is it can't let me rotate my tip instead of tilting the tip. Like I wish tilt tipping wasn't the thing, but instead rotating the tip. Because that's the big thing that frustrates me about digital painting sometimes is it's never, the tilt tipping is kind of useless for how I draw, basically. Alright, that looks alright. I could probably blend you just a wee bit more. Maybe it could be more of a blue. Get some blue tips here and then that'll be fine. I can always erase the outside parts because I'm kind of just, I'm winging this, no pun intended, dragon wings, haha. But yeah, right. What was I saying? Oh, I guess I'm just talking about rendering this dragon and I don't know, just history. I listen to a lot of like history audiobooks and audio podcasts just to pass the time in general. Usually I'll do it when I'm inking something or when I'm drawing and not streaming. I'll usually listen to like an audiobook. Currently listening to Matameo, the in the Redwall series, and going through that. It's pretty good. It's simple, but it's a children's book, so I'm giving it a pass. It's just, I guess for some reason, just taking so long to get through it. I mean, it's it's a good. I'd say it's a good middle school book, because basically it's directly it's a direct inspiration for Mouse Guard, of course. So no wonder it's really influential. But yeah, reading that plus a book called Debt, a history of debt, I think it's called. It's by David Graeber, and I kind of picked that book up because I'd like to know a little bit more about how much life sucks less, and the fact that I am not alone in feeling like being in debt fucking sucks. So I kind of just been reading that for some slight catharsis. And that it could be slightly me kind of just it's a lot of research and stuff like that, the history of debt, the history of money, history of paying for goods and services, and how people just judge value, and figuring out just those macroeconomics and things like that. And initially I just got it because I just felt like crap about just being in debt, with the student debts and the college debts and credit card debts and things like that. But it's a nice fascinating history on that kind of stuff. So if you're interested in learning more about just economies and shit like that, Debt by David Graeber is pretty good. Let's see, other books I read. I'm currently reading I'm currently listening to a novel called Parnisi, and basically, I think I mentioned this in another stream, but it's a story about a gentleman who, I'm assuming he's stranded. He doesn't say if he crashed there or not, but he's been there for a while. But he's in this basically open room or marble garden, kinda. And basically, he and another person are in this marble garden. It's like a giant series of hallways, but it's some of it's outdoors, but it leads to a vast, endless ocean. And just figure out the mysteries of that stuff, and them finding out who is, if there are any other inhabitants, and why he's lost. He doesn't have much memory of a life outside of this marble garden. And that's kind of just been, I'm getting through to it. I still need to read more of it. If you've read it, I'm sure it's pretty nice. I'm liking it so far. I think I'd probably like it more if I actually read it as a physical book, because I'm sure it has some interesting writing styles. Same with House of a Thousand Leaves, or whatever it's called, because I hear a lot of the enjoyment of that book is in, just seeing the style and stuff like that. It seems like it'd be a real comic artist book, because it's more fiddling around with the format and stuff like that, which that seems interesting. Let's see. This could be darker, actually. I could crank this down, put you much better. This Copic brush is pretty alright. There's some loose things, like I can draw on this side, but if I try to draw on this side, it's a little bothersome. Like, I like drawing on here, but drawing like this is a pain. I wonder, like, maybe I could modify the angle. Let's see, brush tip. Because I want like the thin parts to be up, like where my I want more like this, because usually when I'm painting on markers, I will do stuff like this to get the lighter blend. I'll press down, let go, and that's like using the alcohol to make blends, and Copic markers really don't do well. It doesn't do what I really want it to do, but I do like this angle. So if I let's see, I could put the tip, the aliasing brush size, rank you a little bit low. Yeah, here I am constantly like staring at my brush size, kind of just seeing what's up. Ink. Opacity. This should actually be like more defaults. And I should have more I should have stronger flow as I go. Let's see, color jitter, anti-aliasing, brush shape, brush tip, spraying effect. Not a slight spray. No, for that, because I want the spraying effect to be out at the tip. Kinda. Oh, I can't even mess with that. Alright. Dual brush. Oh, I can't do that. I can't do dual brush. I can't do spraying effect without the dual brush. Okay. Ending. I want to at least have an ending where it ends like this. Yeah, I'm doing my best to kind of just figure out like starting and ending my speed. Because again, I'm trying to do this, usually I will blend. It's a certain way that I usually blend. And when I use Copic markers, like in real life, the way I use them is that, and I should probably like zoom in for this. The way I use Copic markers, I guess probably just zoom in a little bit more. Kind of, let's see if I can't find some paper or something. Are you blank? No, you got writing. Don't work. So, The way I usually use Copic markers is let me see if I can't bring you. Whoop. Maybe I can take it closer, and hopefully this will be slightly better here. So the way I usually have my Copic markers is I have it like this, and that has a nice flat line. The further I have my angle up, the thinner the line will look. So thin line, and when it's at the side, it looks slightly thicker. So probably would usually have the marker rotated like this, but I also will do things like this, where it will blend or at least fade out on the side while still I still have my consistent color. That's usually how I usually blend. I have just multiple strokes where I will blend. It's a nice way to kind of just get a nice fluffy line. That's usually just how I do most of my Copic stuff when blending. Like obviously I use things like a an alcohol marker blender and things like that. And basically, let's see, I've completely borked my webcam, so hopefully that works. And I've never been able to get my markers in digital art to feel as correct as how I usually draw traditionally. And I've yet to figure out the right brush settings that could make my markers just feel remotely close to how I draw in general. And obviously, the digital beating, it's completely different. It's not exactly digital art. No, it's not one-to-one. It's not supposed to be one-to-one. And all my music stopped. I didn't even know that because I'm wearing my frickin' headphones. That's not like you care. But yeah, basically, long story short, I have a hard time doing traditional art, and I'm still just constantly clinging on digital art, or clinging on traditional art, because there's just so much things that I can do in traditional art that I have yet to figure out digitally. So that's kind of just been my personal beef with, just drawing on the screen. And as you know, I get used to it. I've been drawing on this tablet. I think it's going on 2 years now, and I'll say that I am much better drawing on the tablet than I was working on the other tablets and starting out. Obviously you'll learn how to draw on stuff as you actually use them, and I use it pretty frequently that it's not that big of a I'm becoming better at it due to constantly practicing and learning the program and learning the ins and outs of not pixel art, but Clip Studio Paint, and not just Clip Studio Paint, but also just using digital tools. Because I would love to be able to get to a point that I could be more one-to-one with my traditional art, and it looks just, well, not just as good, but I feel like it'll look remotely close to the confidence I feel when I just draw on paper. Like when I draw on paper, I feel like I'm just in my element and it's not an awkward situation. Well, sometimes with like digital art, I feel like an idiot because one, I'm comparing my digital art to everyone else's digital art, where everyone is this immaculate super painter who can draw practically anything. And meanwhile, I am wondering why my lines just feel so blobby looking. Like, you're probably seeing it fairly clean, but to me, sometimes I feel like my lines are pretty blobby. Like, you feel like there's some slight thick and thin stuff, and things aren't as tight as my traditional art, which honestly, it's just as blobby. I think my brain's already excused it, and my brain still hasn't excused the blobbiness of my pen because there's so much stuff that can stabilize. You know, I use my stabilizer, and you know, I know a bunch of other friends who don't use stabilizer, and you know, more power to them. I have a fucking garbage slop hand, fucking giant gorilla hands, and I cannot do long lines to save my ass. So yeah, it's kind of weird because everybody says, "Oh, you have such a clean style." It's kind of like, I guess, but I also completely, you know, I'm also constantly not breathing and things like that. Like even my traditional stuff, it's pretty clean, but it's also, I sketch the crap out of my regular art, so I know exactly what lines I need for, you know, from my pencil thing. Like I render art like a comic artist. Like, you know, obviously I have more of a comic book background overall. You know, most of my stuff's in comics. I don't think I've ever really painted in my life. And so I feel like that's kind of just been a slight handicap to me personally, where I think my coloring suffers because I've just never painted in my life. I should probably turn on the music. But it's 9:31. I probably just don't even want to bother. I could probably just add some more tracks in editing. Why the hell not? Or I'd probably just reuse the tracks in the beginning, because fuck it all. They're not gonna pay attention. Okay. And I probably need to tilt this more yellow, because tilt these colors much more, just to see if it can't contrast you a little bit more. Still looking slightly pale. Could probably bump the saturation just a wee bit, and that'll look much better. Let's crank you up and just get to the tips of the just the absolute top parts of both the eye and nose and the snout. And it'll all just look much much more like you'll see depth to it more often. And I could probably just do things to modify it, like I can add a little less light to this, because again, the lighting's supposed to be tilting inward just enough. So maybe a little bit of this, maybe a longer shadow here. Perhaps some deeper shadow. No, I'll finish the lighting first. Deeper lighting here. A tutorial to improve on Photoshop. Outside of a lot of practice, you probably would need to find out what exactly you'd like to improve in Photoshop in. Like, do you want to improve in rendering? I can show you Control Paint. That's a website that has a bunch of videos stuff, and I think Control Paint's also on YouTube. So Control Paint, so like the Control key plus Paint, and they're on YouTube, and they have a bunch of tutorials, and you know, most of them are specifically on Photoshop, and they can show you things like how to, you know, do like brush rendering, how to, you know, deal with the Photoshop technology. Like, I think one giant thing to make sure that you want to learn is, you know, what in Photoshop that you really want to learn in. Because I don't know, and this is mostly just me personally, like seeing you speaking. Like, I don't know if you're a first-time artist or you're a traditional artist who just started learning digitally. So you say you first bought your first digital tablet, so that's good. I'd say the most I can really just tell you is practice just drawing lines on the tablet. Kind of like see if you can learn how to just simply work with the thick and thin stuff with your tablets. You know, learning, you know, the actual general inking and stuff and like that. On new paper, blah blah blah. Do stuff like you know, just learn how to just draw in the paper and try to see if you can't tilt your drawing towards your regular traditional art style if you've drawn on paper before. If you haven't drawn on paper before, I would recommend more of a general art tutorial over a, you know, an actual like Photoshop, because Photoshop, that's, you know, no amount of Photoshop knowledge can truly help you get better at art, because, you know, there's still a bunch of core fundamentals you gotta learn and overall. But, you know, in terms of learning how to use your tablet, just doing things like trying to draw lines with confidence, try to use one stroke to draw the thing. Yeah, you just draw a lot on paper. Yeah, just doing things like seeing if you can like do brush control stuff, little warm-ups and things like that. Little figure eights and circles, where you're trying to draw circles as consistently as possible and try to end the circles as even as you've started them. So right, like you start thin, thick down, and thick up, and try to complete the line as well as you can. And you just do a billion of those to get yourself used to using thick and thin lines in Photoshop. And now don't worry about it being super wobbly. Like, you know, when you draw a bazillion circles, they'll get better and better as you go. And overall, you'll grind. just like anything else, it's a grind. You're getting yourself accustomed to drawing all the damn time. And soon you'll end up learning how to draw like whole different styles, where it's an anime style or a comic book style. This is just some person here. And you'll get decent enough that you'll be able to casually just work on stuff. Sometimes you take a break, work on things that you want to work on, and it'll put less stress on you, because a lot of studying is boring. Like, let's be real, drawing studies is boring, so kinda gotta figure out a way to make your things fun. Like, a way that you can make these boring drawings, these boring drawing exercises interesting, is to try to apply them to your own stuff that you actually care about. Like, if you're learning anatomy, it'll be easier to learn anatomy if you're drawing it on your OCs than, the generic draw a box, pose maniacs poses and things like that. It'll be easier to retain like your anatomy knowledge if you have like something to care about. So, if you like drawing boobs, then, draw boobs and learn how to draw boobs and all that, what's it called? All that, all that entails. And, you'll learn how to get really good at doing that, because you're constantly practicing, but also you're learning how to draw stuff that you actually care about. Right now I'm using Pastry for pixel art and I'm feeling confident, but I want to start with Photoshop. And yeah, one thing that I will also say is most art programs are roughly the same. Once you learn one, it's easy to pick up others, because usually most of the principles still apply. Like, once you still have the core drawing fundamentals, like you can draw a box same as you can draw it. Let me see if Sprite's also open. Yes, Sprite's also open. Yeah, you can draw a box same as you can draw a box in Sprite. It's just, it's still drawing, and overall pixel art is pixel art, especially if you're using a tablet. Like, those principles still apply. You're drawing the same freaking thing. So, it's good that you're at least, taking some time to, take some Photoshop time in to kind of just get yourself used to drawing. But, don't abandon pixel art completely. Like, you can do both at the same time, basically. It's just, stuff you do in Photoshop, you can apply to your next pixel art thing. And if you ever get stuck with a pixel thing, you can always go back to Photoshop, draw the character in a drawing, so you can figure out how to apply that drawing to pixel art. Like, a nice thing about pixel art is, like, you can take these larger drawings, and it'll help you. Doing these larger drawings will help you figure out how to do it simpler, so you can transfer that knowledge to pixel art here. And once you just figure out those like basic ideas, it'll transfer to pixel art no problem. So yeah, that is what it is. Yeah, I'm gonna continue with pixel art and learn Photoshop. Oh yeah. But yeah, hopefully I'm helpful with that. There's a whole bunch of other stuff that I haven't been able to cover, but I've kind of just explained as much as I at least can help you with. Like, if you have any other questions, I could probably like see if I can help you out, and if not, I could see if there's like a resource I could direct you to. Let's see. But yeah, I mean, YouTube tutorials, pixel art tutorials, that stuff. You know, attending, you know, other pixel artist streams, you know, stopping by a Mort stream to kind of just see what he's doing, ask questions, Lumpy Touch, Cup of Joe, like just a bunch of pixel artists, and you know, feel free to ask them questions. They're happy to help. Yeah. Yeah, thanks, man. Yeah, man, I appreciate it. Yeah, thank you for, you know, asking, because, you know, obviously, you know, answering questions is also a knowledge check on my part. You know, it's, if, I can get myself to, it helps me remember, you know, these, concepts, because, you know, I'd have to explain it to someone else who may or may not even know what the hell you're talking about. And if you can explain it yourself and be straightforward and concise, it means that you know the knowledge pretty well. So, you know, I appreciate these questions personally, because, you know, obviously I like feeling helpful, of course. You know, everybody likes feeling helpful. Fuck, this is starting to like not run as hard well, but so far so good. I have to control SU though. Oh, hey Rhythm Bastard, how's it going? Yeah, I'm nearly done. Uh-oh. Are you crashing? Uh-oh. Okay, good. Oh. That is... Okay, my files are starting to get more and more large, so... It's starting to take longer and longer to save, so... I think I'm gonna save another instance, and then see if I can't just start flattening some stuff. Yeah, you're doing okay? I'm doing alright. Kinda had a, short moment of feeling bummed out over an argument a while ago, but I'm doing better. Doing better, and you know, kind of just seeing about just getting a bunch of this art done here. I'm nearly done. I have 2 more characters going, but I've been streaming for 2 hours, so I think I might wrap, because it's nearly 10 at night and I gotta wake up at 4 in the morning to do my job. But you know, so far so good. It's looking pretty good right now. And yeah, I mean, all that's left is these 2 characters for the Magic Gathering stuff. But yeah, you know, knocked out 1, 2, 3, and well, there's still a bit stuff to do with this character, but I could probably just do this next stream. But for now, I think I might just wrap. I've been streaming for, I think it's going on 3 hours so far, so I think I might just what was the web you said? Control Paint. So let me see if I can just go on YouTube and find it. That's controlpaint.net. Not .net, but like on YouTube it's Control Paint. So control, like the control key, and then paint. So like Control Alt Delete, but Control Paint. You search that up. He calls his channel Control Painter, which is bizarre to me, but yeah, that's YouTube for you. But yeah, direct link to his channel right then and there. So, you know, he's pretty decent at, you know, just showing you the basics, and basically just made a mirror of his website, and you know, go through the playlist, videos, see all this horror stuff. And he also set up his playlist, so you know, it's separated by specific concepts that you like. If you're just learning about the the technology, I recommend either Digital Painting 101 playlist, the line work playlist, the brush tool playlist, getting started with digital painting, or maybe like the digital sketching stuff. But if you've never drawn in your life, obviously the traditional digital foundation traditional drawing part is fine. But you say you've drawn before, so you got a lot of playlists, and this guy works specifically in Photoshop, so you'll be able to pick it up no problem. So yeah, that's on YouTube, so follow Control Paint on YouTube. Bada boom. Anywho, I need to start wrapping the stream up right here. Okay. Uh-oh. What am I doing here? Shift tab. What am I doing here? I'm supposed to be full screening it. I am like, yeah, I'm clearly falling asleep, so okay. But yes, this is what I've gotten done so far, and I'm going to wrap the stream for now. So yeah, let's see if there's someone we can raid real quick. Bada bing, bada boom. No one's really here to raid. No friends are streaming, though it's late at night, so who knows. Anyway, I'm gonna now step away and head to bed now. And I'll see if I can stream next week, or maybe tomorrow. Hey, you know what? No, next week. I'm not gonna disappoint you all. I'm just gonna stream next week. And if I do an extra stream, it'll just be under my own feelings. So anyway, thanks for stopping by, and thanks for watching this. Basically just me working on this commission stream. I thought I was gonna do more pixel art, but I kinda just got busy with working on this. So anywho's, I will see you all next time. Have a good day now.